Michael says, hey, SM, I have a site that is ranking really well in Australia for its keywords, but been in the SEO space. Has lots of content on the blog that would work in overseas markets too. I already have traffic coming in from the US, Canada, etc. What would be the best way to get a clone of that site up to better rank in those places without sacrificing what is already there? I was thinking to grab a .com and somehow mirror the site with an href language for US global if possible. If so, what would you recommend is the best and simplest way? This site is built in WordPress and has some subdomains that resolve to different services to hold static HTML. It's a good question. I'm not real sure just because I don't do international stuff. You know, you could clone the site, place it on like a .com. And if you're talking about trying to, like, for example, in the US, if you wanted to rank the .com for the articles that are currently on your Australian site that are getting some traffic, but could probably rank better if it was on a more localized site, which I don't know that that's true because, again, I don't do international stuff. But if that's what you mean, then perhaps cloning the site, putting it on a .com, and then canonicalizing the existing pages that you want to push over to the US site or whatever, that could help too, right? I know you're talking about the href language, but if it's English, it's English, right? I don't know that you need separate, you know, href language tags, but you could put canonical tags, right? Remember, canonical is like telling Google, hey, this is a copy or very similar version of another article, and I want this version to the copy, or like I said, either an exact copy or a very, very close similar article. I want to push the credit from here over to here. And that's what the canonical tag does. It's basically, it's like a link without it being a physical link, but it's in the code that's telling Google, like, hey, this is, so, you know, this is a copy of this other article over here, and I want the credit to go to this one, right? So you can take the original and then clone it and put it on a new domain and then canonicalize the original to the new one that you want to push the credit to, if that makes sense. And Google is supposed to, they don't always honor it, but they're supposed to recognize that canonical tag. You'll see it in Search Console, say user declared canonical. When you submit something for URL inspection in Search Console, you'll see that. It'll say user declared canonical. And that's telling Google, hey, we want you to push the credit over to here. And then so it's up to Google whether it will honor it. Most of the time it does, but I've seen it not honor that as well. So I don't know if that's what you mean. Again, I've never done anything outside of the US. so I don't really, I mean, other than some clients in Australia and or client stuff that I've done consulting in Australia or the UK or in Canada, but they're all been English speaking countries. So I'm not real sure if that was helpful or not. Sorry, guys. Sometimes if I don't have a good answer, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I mean? That's all I would suggest doing though, is if that's what you're intended on doing, canonicalize the original to the copy that you make the clone, and not all of them, just the pages that are relevant, if that makes sense. And then the ones that you want to keep in the Australian market, for example, there's no really reason for those to be on the cloned copy in the US or the .com. So you could eliminate those pages from the clone copy. That way you're not like bleeding any, you know, juice or equity or anything over to the US site that's unnecessary. Only promote the pages. I wouldn't get rid of the pages on the Australian site, especially if they're generating traffic. What you want to do is hopefully replace the .com versions for those markets in the US, the Canada, whatever, with from the Australian one, if that makes sense. But the canonical tags can help you do that.